UW360 is proudly supported by BECU, a not-for-profit member-owned credit union. Pacific Office Automation, copy, print, workflow, and IT. Problem solved.
How have you been since I saw you last?
Pretty good. I've been having a little...
Mickey Kedzierski is a pharmacist with a mission.
So I've got 2 full bottles of 100 for you.
The medication she's preparing is methadone.
And I'm going to count these out for you.
Her patients are people who struggle with addiction.
5, 10. So I try to look at what is a person doing today? How have they been successful? How have they not? What can they do that might change, and to try to lead them on to the next day. So it's like using behavior modification and motivational techniques in a sense to get through every day. Anything in particular bringing it about?
Mickey is a clinical professor in the University of Washington School of Pharmacy and a chemical dependency professional. She acts as the pharmacy consultant at Evergreen Treatment Services in Seattle, where she provides patients with medication and counseling.
What we do primarily is outpatient medication-assisted treatment for people who have opioid dependence. They're heroin addicts and OxyContin addicts and the like.
And your dose is 135?
That's right.
This is a very regulated form of addiction treatment.
Thank you.
Having a professional pharmacist here helps us make sure that we're complying fully with all of those regulations.
Go.
The other thing that we use her for is dispensing medication to some of our longer-term patients, people who have made a lot of progress in recovery, and she does it in just this elegant, gracious way to continue what we like to believe is a good working alliance with these patients to support them in their ongoing recovery.
You have counseling today at 9.
Our patients start out on liquid methadone. They come in 6 days a week. They dose in front of us. They meet with their counselors or addiction counselors and their medical staff. We work with them to change their risky behaviors, so we decrease things like drug dealing, prostitution, other sorts of things, and we try to promote positive socialization. So it's an all-around intensive program.
Do I need a referral?
Back at the UW, Mickey teaches pharmacy students about chemical dependency. Each week, she takes some of her students to the Salvation Army's Adult Rehabilitation Center, or ARC. It's a residential program that helps men and women overcome alcohol and drug dependencies. Residents work for the Salvation Army while receiving counseling and chemical dependency education.
We talk in a small group for about an hour about anything from their background story to their plan as to what they're going to do when they leave. We even answer questions to them that they have about us and what we do in school.
I think it's a win-win on both sides, as we get to see young students coming in and wanting to learn about addiction, and they get to learn what it's like as an addict and what we do in our addiction, and also that we're real people too.
You may not have answers for some of the questions that people ask. You might find yourself embarrassed or uncomfortable because you don't know how to respond, and you might find yourself really touched by some of these stories.
When I think about addiction now, as opposed to what I used to think of it, there's a lot less prejudice in my mind, and you start to realize that an addiction is a lot more than the drugs they're putting in their body that they're addicted to. Their addiction stems from their childhood, the friends they hung out with, the way they think, mental illness. A number of things culminate in them turning to drugs to avoid the problems that they never really had the opportunity to learn how to deal with.
The pharmacy students and the ARC residents learn from each other.
When I first got clean and sober, I thought that everything would be, just peaches and cream and wonderful all the time. And that was a big reality check for me to realize that, when you're not using, life is still going to be life.
To know that they're happy that we were here, changing our lives, made it really cool. It's like they make our day, but we're making their day too. So it was a pretty cool experience.
Mickey and her UW students bring expertise, open minds, and hope to people who are working to overcome addiction.
When I retire from practice, I would feel assured that there are people out in the community that are continuing to do that kind of work, not only pharmacists, but all healthcare practitioners. If we can do that kind of work, I think we have a much better opportunity to maybe affect some greater change.
When I'm really struggling, to just think of things I'm grateful for, because I have so much to be grateful for, and if I can remember that, it makes the bad stuff so much easier to deal with.